I am sure sports. You know me there, from coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy, 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 boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that mean me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that mean me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that mean me not say it. Know who score, that mean me not say it. Never know the game play, that mean me not say it. If me never seen a game, me not know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you a go love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crapper players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment. Let me know what your thoughts are.
This, the body out there, Sniper King I represent for I Am Sure Sports. You get to me, I say, when you want the latest news and sports and updates and all of that, check out I Am Sure Sports. You know the thing goes in. Remember, cover the whole island. Remember Kingston, Westmoreland, Galchester, Orchard Race, Galtigo Bay, everywhere. I Am Sure Sports. Check it out for the latest news and latest updates. Sniper King I represent. Where them feel like, ha. Yeah, someone on for the food from young, from we there, you need height. I Am Sure Sports. Yeah, dog.
All right. Well, welcome one and all. Greetings. Good afternoon. Hope you're having a safe Sunday afternoon on this no movement day. You know, no movement day. So we decided that we'll do a show today. So I hope you're having a great Sunday evening, spending time with some family, you know, and just chilling, relaxing. You understand? Today we're not going to really cover any football. Though I know most of you will want to come on and troll and banter me because Arsenal lost today. But just want to remind you that the title is not won the first week or the second week of competition. So be careful that you're not, like they would say, counting your chicken before they hatch. Be very, very careful. All right. Today we're going to discuss some track and field. We're going to look at the World Under-20 Championships that was just completed and the Prefontaine Classic in Portland, Oregon yesterday. I have with me today the very learned track and field analyst. They call him Pioneer. You would have heard him from the Sports Explosion and the Sports Desk. Very, very, very educated when it comes on to local and international track and field. And he's going to be joining me today. And so I invite you to be a part of the show. When you come on, please, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. Like the video, share the video, you know, so someone else can know that we are up and we are running right now. So let me invite Pioneer and, you know, good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
Blessings, man. Blessings to the viewers. It's a good evening. As I said, a lockdown day, so at home chilling, you know.
What else is here to do?
Taking care of some of the homework, as they say.
Yeah, man.
Taking care of some of the household matters, you know. Yes, that is as much as we can do in this time, you know. And of course, enjoying a lot of sports and television, you know. I heard you saying that the Premier League is not won on the first or the second week.
Yeah.
I hope we don't hear that it's not won on the third week and the fourth week. Either when Arsenal lose the next two games.
When Arsenal lose the next two games, Well, I don't know you to be a prophet, but if you consider yourself to be a prophet, then I will elevate you to that status. But until you're proven yourself to prophesy anything with any level of accuracy,
Yeah,
I cannot.
it's just kind of funny to hear you saying that. Because I mean, losing your first 2 games in any tournament is a huge setback, and it means you have a lot of catching up to do. So,
Yeah, but it is the beginning of the season. The title is not lost yet, and it,
I think I can safely say with some assurance that Arsenal won't be winning the Premier League title
I
this year.
I didn't say we were going to win it, What
But
I
you said
can
it
say
is not.
is say,
You said it is not won or it is not lost. But I
yeah,
said I can
because no, the reason why I'm
safely
saying
make a
that is that
pronouncement.
last week, last week I heard some people speaking as if Manchester United had won the Premier League. And so and so that is why I'm reminding them. And then this week after Arsenal lost to Chelsea, there are many out there speaking as if Chelsea has won the Premier League. So I just wanted to give them a gentle reminder that nothing has been decided yet. And that
Yeah, you're
must
right.
be taken into account. Nothing has
You're
been
right about that.
decided
Well,
yet.
still early days, but not a very promising start for your team, boss.
True, but there are some other teams that I would say as well that it is not promising for them, But we won't spend too much time discussing that because there's greater news on the track and field front that we need to discuss this whole
Yeah.
weekend, leading into the weekend with our junior athletes, and then topped off by tremendous performance by our female sprinters at the Prefontaine Classic. But seeing that was the kind of the last thing or the icing on the cake, why don't you give me an overview of the World Under 20 Championship from a Jamaican perspective?
Um, some creditable performances. Kind of ended on a high with the victory in the 4x1 for ladies. Some disappointment, I'd say. Main disappointment is the administrative blunders are the. But I guess we'll get the postmortem at a later date when the team gets back to Jamaica as to why some of our athletes actually didn't turn up for finals. We can't have those kind of occurrences on a world stage. I think we should take care of our housekeeping matters at home or behind the scenes at least when we're out there. But creditable performances by our juniors. Tina Clayton winning the 100 meter. Akira Nugent winning the 100 meter hurdles. And that world record run, that junior world record run by the 4x1 ladies, I think kind of capped off what was in fact a good championship for Jamaica. All the other medalists, all the other events that we medaled in, creditable performances all around. But augurs well for the future track and field in Jamaica. One disappointment was that the males seem to be a bit lagging behind a bit with the performances. Again, it is the females who continue to fly the flag the highest. But it is my hope that within the next 2 or 3 years, we might see some of the young male track athletes coming to the party and doing well. Paris is only three years away. Paris Olympics. We have a few prospects, but we want to see some of these young males that were at the World Juniors coming through, with a little more speed and fervor, and coming to the party and start doing well on the international scene.
Yeah, but I think some of the athletes got tested positive for COVID. There was a COVID outbreak. That could have been the reason why some of them did not turn up for their events in the finals, because
as I said, the details. I haven't investigated the full details of what happened with most of the athletes. Still waiting on some more details. As I say, it is my hope that when the team gets back, then everything will be ventilated and we'll get the full details of everything. I'm not sure which and what situation is as a result of COVID testing or people testing positive for COVID. But it is just not an ideal situation to have athletes not turning up for finals. I will reserve the rest of my comments
until you get the full details.
we have the full details.
But I think if I were to compare what happened at the Olympics from a male perspective and what happened with our junior athletes at the World Juniors, I would say at the World Youth, I would say we had more credible performances from our youth. We had the first triple jump medalist, the KC athlete. We had one who medaled in the throws. The 4x1,
yeah, man,
4x4.
The juniors, Jamaica has always done creditably on the juniors in the junior ranks. My mentioning the male is that we didn't have a gold medal on the male side.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yes,
we had gold medal, three gold medals on the female side. So it is my hope that
Well, one of the things outside of a Jamaican perspective, one of the things that I notice is the emergence of African sprinters out of Africa, like these African nations producing more athletes in the shorter sprints, the 100, the 200, both on the male and the female side. And you saw that at the Olympics as well. I don't know if they're shifting away from the longer distances. I don't know, but man, it is.
I've been speaking about this a bit for 3-4 years now. The African nations are coming to the party in sprinting. At first, it was South Africa, with their crop of sprinters that they have, Simbini, and we have people like Wade Van Niekerk in the 400. Now we are seeing, Nigeria has always been not a sprinting powerhouse, but a credible sprinting nation. But now we are seeing Kenya, we are seeing Ghana, we are seeing them coming through in greater numbers. Now, some might argue that it's because of the absence of the US and Great Britain and some of the other major nations that has resulted in that. But when you look at the times are credible times that these Africans are running. And it speaks to the emergence of African sprinting. I spoke to that in one of our shows that we did prior to the Olympics. I spoke to the emergence of the African nations in sprinting, and I actually remember saying that I had picked the African nation to win the 100 meter for men. That didn't come true, but we when you look at the semifinals at the Olympics, we had Kenyans and Nigerians and and South Africans in the semifinals in great numbers. So it is I don't want to say it's a changing of the guard, but it's more the African nations now coming to the party. And I think going forward at world events, we'll see more Africans in both the female and male. We have already had some of the female on the female side. The Ivory Coast having Michelle Ohori and Talou and Blessing Okobari from Nigeria. But we're now seeing the emergence of the men coming through in greater numbers, and the young females also from the African nations are looking good. We have the two young Namibians coming through. What can we say about that?
Botswana.
19 years. Botswana has always been 400 meter base, but now we are seeing them coming down to we are seeing them in the hurdles, we are seeing them in the shorter sprints. So it's I mean, sprinting is a and this is not a racial thing, but sprinting is a black people thing. Africa is the motherland of black people. So it was only a matter of time with some good coaching and some good infrastructure being put in place that we were going to start seeing the emergence of the African nations in the sprint events. And it is happening now. And I'm expecting it to continue. And it wouldn't be a long shot to see, some African dominance over the sprints in the near future.
You know what? I like this comment by Coach Karumi, where he says we need to go back to the basics and we need to manage our athletes, our male athletes at high school better. And I think that's something that we have to, we really have to look at. Though we're spreading out into other events, because like I said, we had a triple jumper who this is the first medal Jamaica has won at the youth level in the triple jump. And so we saw Archer doing well in the hurdles, in the 400-meter hurdles. So I think, but this is a very good point, that we need to really look at how we're managing the athletes, the amount of races that they have in their high school careers, and see if there's a way that we can preserve, just some of this talent that goes through the high school system.
I think we're already seeing that. We are seeing there's a push by ISA to limit the amount of races that athletes can participate in champs, and that in itself is a good thing. It's almost like a catch-22. In recent times, I've been in a heated debate about the gold medal situation, where some persons were arguing that some of the more prominent high schools who, quote unquote, chase champs, don't seem to do well in terms of producing gold medalists. But my answer to that is that the fortunes of the athletes for me is not about what happens in high school. Mind you, I'm not disagreeing that some athletes can be damaged or their careers can be
somebody's going to say to you, pioneers, because you go to Monroe. You're a Monroe past student, and Monroe never normally dominate champs. Why are you saying that?
Well, Monroe has been known to produce credible athletes. We probably haven't dominated champs, but we have over the time during my time and after producing somebody like Delano Williams, who was a big one, a class one standout at champs, was a Monroe athlete. But not to digress too much from the point, man. What I'm trying to say is that for me, the fortunes of our athlete lies in the after high school. What happens after high school? Be it that they end up in whichever college in America that they end up, or be it whichever camp they end up in. There's a bit of luck that is involved with that. But for me, it is a mindset. It's a mindset of the athlete and the coaching after high school that will dictate the heights to which these athletes reach. Not to say that they cannot be significantly affected by their high school careers. All right, that is a part of the equation. But for me, it's not the major part of the equation. The major part of the equation is what happens after high school. We have seen, for example, people like Michael O'Hara, who went to Calabar, went to the World Juniors and did well. But because of the lacking in enhancing his career mentality, I won't call it that, he is basically stuck in that midway point. He's at racers. We have heard Bolt speak about his mindset and the mistakes and the shortcomings that he keep on making in his career. So I think the greater focus needs to be placed on the after high school aspect of these athletes' career. I think the government probably can assist. We have seen the emergence of some credible track and field clubs in Jamaica. There is obviously racers and MVP. We have seen Sprint Tech. We are seeing Elite. We are seeing clubs like Titans. We are seeing people athletes who are recently retired, like a Michael Frater, getting into setting up clubs and getting in coaches in the system. So for me, I think this is where the government need to come in, and the J3 to come in and try and strengthen these newer clubs, that are coming in the game, and continue to support the racers and the MVPs by assisting with resources, giving them concessions and waivers so they can get in equipment and strengthen the clubs, so that when our young athletes leave, for those who choose to stay at home, they have solid basis, so from which they can develop their skills and move on to the senior ranks. That transition from junior to senior that gap. I think that is where we need to bridge. We need to bridge it properly going forward.
Yeah. How impressed are you with the young Clayton? Because she defeated an Olympian in winning
Basically,
in the 100 meters. And her time was even faster than some of the times at the Prefontaine meet yesterday. And that was on a very fast track. How impressed are you?
one of the time, man, not some of the time. Her time was faster than one of the time of one of the
Yeah.
athletes at Prefontaine. All right. 11:09 by a 17-year-old is amazing. I didn't know that Tina Clayton had that in her. It augurs well for Jamaica's future. These young ladies, these twin sisters, sky is the limit. I'm excited by what I'm seeing in terms of female sprinting in Jamaica. I don't know how we are gonna sort this out, but when I look at the Clayton sisters and Brianna Liston and Kevona Davis and Ashanti Moore and Kemba Nelson and Brianna Williams,
Serena
we
Cole, Alia
we have
Francis.
the talent pool is so big and so wide and so deep that I don't know. Some of these guys might have to start thinking about switching events because the competition is gonna be so hot and so tight for places and Jamaicans to go to championships. You might find some very good athletes being left out of teams. But it's a good look. It's a it's a luxury. It's a luxury that Jamaica is blessed to have this, pool of young, talented female sprinters emerging all at once. And it augurs well for the future. Shelly is on her way out. Elaine is going up at 29, going up into age. Sharika Jackson is in her mid, going on to late 20s. So, it means that these ladies are coming right through to fill the vacancies that will be left when these, stalwarts move on and to carry on the rich tradition of female sprinting in Jamaica.
Yeah, I think competition only what competition does, it makes people better in most circumstances. And
Most
I
definitely.
think that the competition at that level is almost like the second tier of athletes are going to be so competitive that they're going to produce faster times. But this is a very interesting question that many people keep asking, and even for me, I keep pondering what is happening to this youngster called Sachin Dennis. I've heard many rumors, but I don't know. It just seems like every time one of these major events come up, he's never present. I don't know.
I'm starting to wonder. There was a rumor of him going to run for what was it, Bahrain at one time.
Yes.
I'm wondering if those that is still somewhere in the pipeline. I was looking to see him at the Olympic trials. He wasn't there. He could have still competed at the World Junior Games.
Yeah.
He didn't turn up. We haven't heard personally. I haven't heard any reports as to why he was not made. He wasn't available. Those questions can be answered at a later date. I don't know. One for the future. One of our most talented male prospects, of course. But what is happening with him? I'm still in the dark on that.
I want Chris Lynn to come on because I need to find out about this KC sprinter Javon Mattison as well. Haven't been hearing much about him, but we're going to leave that, like I said, for our next time, because one of the things I want to ask you is I've heard this suggestion that and I guess people are thinking about Brianna Williams' performance at Prefontaine, that she should come back to Jamaica, she should change coaches. But for me personally, I don't think her coach has failed her. Where she has gotten her is tremendous in a very short window, and this is her second year going pro. I expected a better race yesterday, but she was all the way down in lane 9. I don't know if that affected her, but I'm one that believe that she still need to give her coach opportunity to work with her, because I don't think he has failed in terms of his management of her, because she could have also gone back to the World youth this year. She just
she's a professional athlete now. What I don't think it would have served her purpose. She was a double at 16. She won the double at the World Youth. If she imagine her going back to try and defend that title, losing to the Namibians, that would be like a step backward to me. I don't think she has run the course with her current coach yet. I think her coach has served her well thus far. She has broken 11 seconds on a number of occasions this year. 11:09 is not a bad run by a Brianna Williams at this time. As I said, running out of lane 9. She was up against the best in the world at this time.
Yeah.
She was up against
6 persons in the Olympic finals.
She was up against 6 athletes who were in the Olympic finals. Yeah. And Sha'Carri Richardson, who many persons had expected to be in the Olympic finals. And Jillian Oliver, who was second at the US trials, who just missed making the Olympic finals. So she was up against a top field. 11:09, as I said, I don't think she ran a bad race. She was obviously in a pool that was very deep. So the talks about her coming back to Jamaica and leaving her coach, for me, I'm not there yet. She's still only 19 years old. This coach took her at an early age and has her at a world-class level right now. She's a pro athlete at 19. As I was just speaking to, there are athletes who struggle with that transition from high school to pros. You could almost argue that she's at that phase now where she's moving from the junior ranks to the senior ranks. And she's holding her own in terms of running creditable times. And we saw her at our trials. She was 4th at our trials. So I am not endorsing. She was beaten by 3 people who ran 10-7 at the trials. Yeah. So I'm not endorsing. I'm not there yet with that talk about her leaving her current coach. For me, I would give her another 2 years with Atta Bolden. If by then we're not seeing the progression, then we can start. Yeah. She probably can start looking at options.
I would say I'm giving her up to the next Olympic, 2023, which is
that's in bad.
Yeah.
I mean, by the next Olympic she'll be 22, and that's still pretty young in terms of athletic years. So I'm not entertaining that thought.
Yeah.
The other thing too is that her coach, she, as far as I know now, she's the only athlete for her coach. That means she's getting that one-on-one attention that athletes sometimes desire. And when you're going to bigger camps, that is lacking sometimes in the bigger camps. So I am endorsing her staying with her current coach, Atta Bolden, for now at least.
Yeah, I like what Brian said earlier. He said Atta knows what he's doing, which is true. I think he's measuring her career very well. Also, Brian has the luxury of not being burnt out through her champs or the NCAA system. So I think she's going to go longer in terms of her own career. And
as I said, Mannng, she's at that developmental stage of her career now, where she's moving from the junior in terms of her body, the maturity of her body, and we have seen most athletes, going through that phase. Bolt struggled when he was trying to transition from junior to senior. Johan Blake went through that. And we have seen the same thing on the ladies' side also. Shelly and Fraser Price didn't come to the fore until she was 21. Elaine Thompson at a later stage at age 23, 24. So, she's still just 19 years old, developing, I would say. So I think, she still has some time to go. She's not overworked, as you just spoke to, and even now as a pro athlete, she runs sparingly. So no concern for me. We're coaching is concerned.
See, Brian is always on. Welcome, Brian and Travis. But Brian says that I think Atta also coaches Khalifa St. Forth.
But we haven't been seeing a lot from Khalifa St. Fleur in recent times. So that's why I say I think Brianna is the only athlete now. We haven't seen much from her. I don't know if she's still running. I haven't seen her in the last 2 years.
Brian, it's time to come on, Brian, because you can't always say that you're working, because I know you're not working today because there's no movement today. But before we get into the big race yesterday, one of the things I want to look at is these guys, because of fast track, I noticed that none of these guys even neared Usain Bolt's record at the meet yesterday. Like, Lies was so excited. The man fumbled at the Olympics and come here, win the race. You'd swear that the man just win the Olympics gold medal, how he was carrying on. Why is he like that? You were on the big show and you flop, and now you come here and what happened? And then I didn't see Knighton as well, so I'm wondering if he has chosen not to go pro, so he's not going to do the Diamond Leagues.
He has got Knighton has gone pro.
Okay.
He signed. I think he signed with Adidas.
Okay.
Prefontaine is a Nike meet, so it's not strange to not see him. But we going back to Noah Lyles.
Brian is saying that hold on, just a sec. Brian is saying that Khalifa was at the Olympics.
I didn't see her.
Yeah.
As I said, I didn't notice her.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead. Noah Lyles.
For me, Noah Lyles is obviously a talented athlete. I think the mistake that Noah Lyles keep on making, he's trying to fill some shoes that are obviously too big for him. He came out of high school and went pros, and immediately started saying that he was gonna be the next Usain Bolt. He was bad-mouthing Bolt in some interviews. Person asked him about Bolt, and he was saying Usain who, and like as if to suggest that he was at some level. Another mistake that he keeps making. For me, he's a gifted 200 meter.
You say Shakira Richardson reloaded.
No, but Noah Lyles, let me keep it Noah Lyles, because he has taken on this mantle, and this is a mistake that he continues to make, and I think this is a burden that is gonna, as in Jamaican parlance, that will strain him. All right, there is only one Usain Bolt. You are Noah Lyles. You are not Bolt. You are not Bolt 2.0. You are not even in the class and league of Usain Bolt. You are on the 5th shelf while Usain Bolt's on the top shelf. Be the best version of yourself. And I think he keeps putting this pressure on himself as if I think he thinks he's a little more than he is right now in track and field. He keeps trying to run the 100 meter as if to suggest that somehow he can be a double sprint champion. And personally, I'm not seeing that.
That's why DeGrasse is still running.
He's a gifted 200 meter sprinter. And mind you, DeGrasse is also a contender in the 200 meter. But he's a gifted 200 meter sprinter. I think he should focus all his energies in the 200 meters, and he should concentrate on being Noah Lyles, not the next Usain Bolt. And it will work well for him. When he runs in the US, he runs better races. I think it's because he's a little more comfortable, he's a little more relaxed. He's always there with his, if you notice, his brother wasn't there.
Or is it because he's just running one race and not doing rounds?
No, well, he went to the World Championships in Doha, ran the rounds and was world champion.
Okay.
So it's not about, I don't think it's about rounds per se. I think it's about his mindset. We saw it at the American trials, we saw it. The first 2 rounds he ran, he was in his head and he looked ordinary. He was beaten by Knighton in the semifinals. All right, in the finals, and he admitted to it, he came out of his head and ran an excellent race and won the US trials. Went to the Olympics again in the first rounds for me, got into his head again and got tight. Didn't do well in the semifinals, pulled the lane 3 in the finals, which is a tight lane. Did his best coming off the curve in the final, was leading the race, tied up down the home stretch and lost and came 3rd. So, I think he needs to relax. Just be the best version of Noah Lyles that you can be. Forget about Usain Bolt. Concentrate on the 200 meters. Have some fun while running, and we will see him doing well in the future. How well, we don't know. For me, DeGrasse is emerging, and DeGrasse is going to be a handful going forward. So, it's gonna be looking good going into the next Olympics. The competition in the sprint and the male side, we have Christian Coleman coming back next year. We're gonna have some interesting world championship battles in 2022 with the 2021 world championship, and then in 2023 again, and then all that will be leading into the Olympic Games for Paris 2024. So not looking bad for Noel Lyles right now. Looking good for male sprinting going forward. We're not seeing super fast times, but I think that will get better next year. We saw the grass running 9.7 yesterday. Good race. I think next year we'll be seeing more 9.7s. We see people like Fred Curdy, who is new to the event, emerging. The Marvin Braces and the Ronnie Bakers from the US, not looking bad, coming into their own. We have the older guard like the Justin Gatlins and the Mike Rogers are on their out, and the Johan Blakes. The younger sprinters we might see coming in. For me, we will see them coming into their own next year at the World Championships.
Man of Steel, welcome to the show, man.
Hey man, bless up. You mean I watched the show earlier, but I never plan to jump on the stream still, but yeah man, give thanks.
I'm not seeing the name, Mannings. I'm not seeing the name.
Man of Steel, we call him Man of Steel.
Yo, brother, what you say, brother? You hear up on the radio every day, no, brother.
All right, respect.
So, there's a sprinter from US that's called Knight, and I don't remember his first name. He's about
No, Knighton. He's talking Knighton.
Yeah. He's one for the future as well.
In the 200 meters, very, very, very excellent sprinter. As I said, for me, the male sprinting, it's looking good for male sprinting going forward. My only disappointment is that we don't have any Jamaicans in the mix. We need to see some of the Jamaicans coming to the party. And for them to come to the party, they have to start run 9.8s and 19 7s, 19 8s, 19 7s. That is what come next year. That is what will be required to be in the mix next year.
You know what? Let me just respond to Travis. Travis, I just think like after this, Yuan is going to retire. Don't think after his surgery with the appendix situation that was affecting him at the Olympics, I think he's going to retire. But let me say this. I think if I were Chris Taylor's handlers, I would just have him do 200 for the World Championship next year to see what would happen. I'll just try him out at the 200 because I think in terms of prospects of someone I'm looking at that could medal, I see Akeem Bloomfield, if he comes back to, and Chris Taylor in the 200 as possible medalists at the World Championships for Jamaica next year. I know we are talking about the youngster named Level, but Level struggled at the junior level. I mean, he didn't even make so the junior. That's what I'm saying, that there are some good junior sprinters out there, and this did not have the Americans and the British. Yeah, that's if you add a couple of those in the mix, our Jamaican youngster is all the way down. But when you look at a Chris Taylor and the Akeem Bloomfield, I could see them possibly breaking some barriers in the 200 meters at the World Championship next year if they come down to that level. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Manning's man. That might be a fear. Way to put it in. But the thing is, Christopher Taylor was struggling with injury, and he's just getting in that groove of, I think, learning and understanding more about the 400 meters. So I don't think that now would be a good time to pull him away from an event that I think he could possibly medal in, based on his improvement and how he progresses and his injury concerns. So I don't, unless you're going to pull him from it and not have him go back. But I don't think now is the time to pull him from the event that is while he's in the phase of learning. I think this is probably his only full or partially full professional season. So maybe in time to improve over time as he gets stronger, as him learn more and more about the event and how to compete at championships and stuff. So I don't think that would be a wise choice now to pull him and put him down to the 200.
What your thoughts are, Pioneer?
All right. For me, what if I were Chris Taylor's coach or handler next year at the World Championships, considering he PB'd in the 400 meter this year, I would have him run the 400 meter in 2022. I'd allow him to train in the off season, see what the progression is, how he performs in 2022. In 2023 now, I would have him running the 200 meters to see what he can do. And obviously, the speed work from the 200 meter would assist him in the 400 meter also. I'd have him running exclusively 200 in 2023. And then going into the Olympics 24, then based on what I'm observing, then would I make a choice whether we make him stick with the 2 or him go back up to the 4. But for the coming season, considering that this season he ran a PB in the 400 meter, was in the Olympic finals, I'd have him run the 400 meter next season. We have some of the older guys that are obviously going to be going out. People like Kerani James is getting older. Wade Van Niekerk is on his way out. We have people switching like Fred Curley switching from the 400 going down to the 2 and the 1. We saw Norman trying to run the 100 yesterday at Prefontaine. I don't know if that's another move that he's trying to make. So it might just open the field a little bit for the 400 meter. Him running running a PB in the Olympic Games. If he stays healthy in the off season, trains well, there's a possibility that he might be closer to the medals next year at the World Championships. So depending on what happened, for me, I'd have him running 2022, the 400 meters. 2023,
take a shot at the 2.
Down to the 2, take a shot at the 200, and then make a decision what he does in the next Olympics from there.
All right. As a Coach Minzy here telling us that the athlete's name is Arian Knighton.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Arian Knighton.
Akeem Bloomfield has changed camp. That's interesting. I wonder where he's gone. Coach Minzy, you have to share with us where he's gone, because I know that he and Nathan Allen were training partners at one point. But he's also saying that you are right. Man is still speaking about, which is what Pioneer also just said about. Yeah. But what about Antonio Watson? Because he couldn't go at the junior level because he's an good young prospect. And I think his coaches are struggling in terms of what is he supposed to do. Is he 400 or 200 or 100? I'm not sure that.
For the 100, I don't think he's a 100-meter sprinter. He struggles with his start, obviously. His range is 200, 400 for me also. He spoke to that. He said his coach said to him, listen, don't do the 2-4 double. That might be a little challenge in this year. And I think because of the schedule too, he chose to do the 1-2. But so he's obviously not a 100-meter sprinter. He was just trying a thing this year. Got a silver medal at Champs. Not a bad goal. But for me, his best race is the 200-meter. He also has 400-meter strength. But he's one for the future too. He has not left the junior ranks yet. How he transitions will be the big question. He's Coach, not running super fast time.
What on the Pioneer? Coach Minzy, the link in the thing, but you need to just come on and just come give us the. You have to come on, come give us the scoop, but you can't just come on and give it 5 minutes. We know you're a busy man. Come give us.
Pioneer, give it 5 minutes. Find out the comment. Man say,
Mass Exodus. Come on, Coach Minzy. You saw that, Pioneer? He said there's a
No.
There's a mass exodus, and they might go to Chris Camp, which is he's speaking about Akeem Bloomfield. So they're Coach Minzy, come on and come give us the scoop, man. We can't bother with them.
We need the scoop from Coach Minzy, man. Obviously.
There's going to be a mass exodus, but I think there's going to also be a mass influx of athletes going up to MVP as well. So because I think like Brianna Liston and those girls should not go back to high school. I think they should go. I think they should go pro, but I'm not their parent.
Brianna Liston is 16 in the match.
No, I'm not Brianna. But the Clayton twins.
Yeah, Pioneer. I wanted to ask a question. As a man who know the rules of track and field, I saw that Brianna Liston was disqualified. Now when I look at her clippings as to the violation of the lane, she just
I haven't seen that race to know though.
Yeah, but I think she posted it on her Instagram page. And if that is the reason why they disqualified her, her foot just touched the line on the inside. She never got over it.
No, man. But in the 200 or the 400, as a matter of fact, at the world level now, any touching of the line
on the inside.
on the inside lane and touching on the line on the inside lane is room for disqualification. There's no leeway given.
Anyone,
Come again, I didn't hear that.
Even if you're not
infringing on anyone.
Because what happened is
Even
that...
especially if it's on the bend, as long as it's on the curve, you would have deemed to have run. You'd have deemed to have run.
They're saying that they get an unfair advantage by crouching on the lane.
Right.
By encroaching on the lane. So as long as it's on the curve, if it's on one of the straightaways, as long as you're not infringing on anyone on the straightaways, then it is not considered a violation. But as long as it's on any one of the curves, it is automatic disqualification. There's no leeway given, nor no arguing about that. In any one of the events, whether it's with the 400, the 4 hurdles, the 200, any infringing on the curve, on the inside curve, is instant disqualification.
Yeah, man. All right. Yeah, man. Okay. Not a problem, coach. Means you can come on, man. No camera. You understand? We know you have to have on your debaters cap and all of them things. You don't want nobody see how you appear tonight. That's a problem, man. All right, but yeah. So interesting prospect looking. Going ahead. All right. So we have Coach Minzy. People say.
Mannng, me exit for about 2 minutes and change location.
All right, that's a problem.
Just give me 2 minutes, all right?
Yeah. Coach Minzy. Check. Oh, Coach Minzy.
Man, I still big up. Yeah, hear me?
Yeah, man, hearing you look.
Yeah, I can't come on camera, so excuse for that, yeah?
No, man, not a problem, but totally understand.
Yeah, so, yeah, man, I still, once I touch the line, man, I could have half a centimeter. Once you touch the line, you're going to be DQ. That's what the rule says. And we have to just work with it. Worst time of it on camera, you're dead in the
Aren't you Brianna's coach Minzy?
Former coach.
I'm trying. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
My fine, boy. I can understand their predicament still in terms of the line. But there are two rules in track and field that I don't think. I don't know. I just not find them rule necessary. I think the lane violation. I think the line is drawing it very hard, and I don't think that person's running 400 meters should be disqualified for false start. I think if somebody jump the gun at 400 meter, you just give them a green flag, a green card, and start over the race. Because
hey, man still. That's why I don't believe that people forget fast start now 400 meter because the race long. You don't need to go nowhere. So where you jump, you gonna go?
Right. Well, how about that? Yeah, but you sit in the blocks.
Huh?
But you sit in the blocks. Why you jump the gun?
You're not going nowhere, man. So I don't understand why people get fast start for that.
You're saying, right? If I'm running a 400, and then you can explain this to the people. If I'm running a 400, and say I am leading by, say, 60 meters, so I'm on the back stretch coming around the last bend, but everybody else is at the 200 mark, and I'm at the 150 mark because I am leading, heading to even if I touch the inside lanes here, but I'm so far ahead, I can still be disqualified though I'm not impeding any other athlete.
Yeah, man, because I'm not impeding alone in the mornings.
At the unfair advantage.
It's an advantage because once you run on the curve and you brush the line, they are saying that you're getting an advantage because you're shortening your distance. You understand? So once you go into the line and if it was outside the person brush the line, no problem because them would not run over distance. But once you come inside, they are shortening your distance. Technically, that's what they really say.
That's what the rules say. Let me ask you a question. Are those rules enforced at our championships like Boys and Girls Champs?
Yeah, man.
Champs, people get disqualified for lane violation?
Yeah, man.
I don't remember. Well,
you're not going to remember, but you
think
and people protest it and it don't work. Yeah, man, once you brush the line, man, ain't a problem. With that champs, I think probably primary champs, if a man probably protest, you might get somebody out, but they don't really penalize them at that level. Unless it is blatant. But once you're that champs, man, I you brush the line, I see a rule, man. IWF rule, them are go by, you know.
Yeah, but you see the fast start, not them 400 meter race there.
No, that is athlete's fault, man. I can't
Yeah,
even...
but I just feel like if I'm on
Mannings, I don't know if it's my phone or my link, but I'm not here.
Oh,
probably phone.
it's your phone. Yeah, man, just sign out and try sign back in Pioneer. Coach Minzy, so now tell us about this. Is it Bloomfield, Nathan Allen, or is just Bloomfield? They're coming back to Jamaica.
Man. Based on information that I've received, it
still not hearing, Mannings. I don't know what's happening.
All right, so you have to try and just sign out and sign back in. All right. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Coach Minzy.
Yeah, based on information that I'm receiving, it's a high possibility that these young athletes who are at MVP International will find another club. From what I've heard, Bloomfield has already moved on, and the mass exodus would have started with him moving, so others might be on their way out.
This is MVP International.
Yeah.
Which is separate from the MVP that is in Jamaica.
Not necessarily.
No,
under one umbrella.
Same entity, basically,
Oh,
it's
so
just
it's
that
the
those
same
persons are based in the USA.
Okay, but it's same management, same.
Well, I'm not so sure about this structure, but I know it's coach. Isn't that the camp that Christiana Williams is a part of and Janelle Smith and those persons?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Same.
Okay. Wow, that is interesting.
Yeah, but Manning's man, if you look still, you know what? All of the persons in that camp there. I don't know if it's ironic or what, but all the persons in that camp, them just move from hero to zero in a boss.
Exactly.
Who not get injured? It's just from one problem to our next, brother.
At MVP International.
So, he's at least believing in progress, and if they are not getting what they want, they are going to move on, because they know you sign contract and you have your performance, you know it go.
Yeah. I was saying that because what's his name? Nathan Allen. I don't know if it is injuries, but he looked, compared to the Nathan Allen I saw before the pandemic. I mean, like he must be coming back from some injury and thing, because
a lot of injury concern for real, man. A lot of injury concern. Plus other things that probably they are not pleased with and all of these things. A whole lot of things be here I've gone, but me not want to say online right now.
Yeah, man, not a problem. Totally understand. Wow, that is interesting.
Coach, which camp is Taekwondo Tracy in now?
All right.
Is he in MVP as well?
No, Taekwondo Tracy was at MVP. He left to the camp that Chris is at now. Tumbleweed. But I understand that he's back with O'Keefe Smith up by Huey, Swept Track Club. So that's where he's working out.
Okay. So during the Olympics he was with the Huey camp?
Yeah man. I them in prepare God trials and all of them. So
all right, Pioneer. You're hearing us now? In Pioneer, you hearing us? Go.
Probably have something with the phone. Like one time I log on to the phone, it give a whole heap of issues.
Pioneer,
Pioneer
seems like he's not hearing us.
Man. Yeah.
Are you hearing us?
Yeah, I hear it clear, but it's kind of a little bit it started. I'm gonna try to switch internet connection.
Oh, all right. Just do that and then just work on your stuff and then you come back on and then we add you. All right? Because I can. All right. Coach Minzy, what are your thoughts on the big race, man? First, because most of us get it wrong, I'm not going to discuss last place first. I'm going to discuss first place first. And then I'm going to save last for last. You understand?
But you see the thing, man, all right. So the thing is, and a lot of people have been making a lot of issues with it and stuff, even with the whole NBC showing Shakar's interview, not showing Elaine, even though I think Senator Richard said that they interviewed Elaine, but they couldn't show it because of the commercials, and they're going to upload it on the website, which when I checked this morning, it was not on the website, so I'm not sure when. But the thing is, it's a race that occurred in America, shown by predominantly American channels. So you can understand why they might give them the preference. I'm not saying it's right, but we can understand why. Because if it was a Jamaican media houses, it's possible to think that we would have given or the highlight as well.
You really believe that there's a media house in Jamaica who would go to the last place athlete and interview them before them interview the person who just run them kind of times?
The second fastest time in history.
No, man is man. What? All right. Yeah, you're right in that aspect. I don't think they would have done that. But I'm saying that the highlight that they give to Shakari, I can understand it, even though I don't agree with it.
No, don't understand it, man.
It's right.
It's just
I
that
can understand it.
I just saw US operate.
Yes,
it was greatly disrespectful to the
Yeah,
the Olympic champion.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the two-time double Olympic champion
Yeah.
and a woman who just ran 0.5 second after world record. A world record that everybody thought was almost unbreakable.
Yeah, but Pioneer, I'm asking if you are surprised.
No, I'm not. I'm well surprised. Surprised, not I wouldn't say surprised, but annoyed and disgusted by it. I have no problem with them interviewing Shakari Richards, who has earned her place and earned her hype, so to speak. But then you're talking about the double Olympic champion, the double Olympic sprint champion, the two-time double Olympic sprint champion, and the winner of the race in a spectacular fashion. Right after you interviewed Shakari, the next interview should have been Elaine Thompson. No commercial breaks needed to be taken there. You need to talk to the double Olympic champion.
Hold on, man. Hold on.
Pioneer. You see, when you come on to those networks and their adverts, they are very serious about it.
Money.
They're no joke. So they don't care who the guy. They don't care who the guy, who the lady. They're gonna put on them ad. It's like even with we when we have.
So even if I can agree with that.
Pioneer, let him finish, and then you come back. Go ahead, coach.
You see, even when we are do our little thing and we split the screen and have Supreme Venture and the race same time, them not doing that. Because it's all about the Benjamins. These are the things that make the wheel run. You understand? So they are going to ensure that they make some money. They don't care who you be. Because remember, track and field ain't the biggest sport in America. They have the biggest star in track and field in America, which is Shakira. Hence the reason why they would have interviewed her. As a matter of fact, she was going around. It was somebody who pulled her back for the interview. So it's not like she just go in and just go straight to the interview booth. No, she was actually going around because of that defeat, and they held her back, pulled her back to the station, and she does do the interview. But I agree with you. It's distasteful on the part of the two-time double Olympic champion. It's like a disregard. She's also a Nike athlete. You don't hear Nike saying no congratulations and anything like that as well. So a whole lot of things to digest.
Pioneer, go ahead now, Pioneer. Your response.
Yeah, I'm saying, even if you had to go for your commercial break, you should have ensured that, one, you got the interview, and two, it was aired. You needed to find out the mindset of the athlete right after the race. You need to find out what did the athlete do coming into the race that enabled her to put on the spectacular performance. Mind you, as some people might say, Shakari Richardson was the big billing. But we have seen, even in any other sport, even if the quote-unquote favorite or the person who has the attention on them or the team that has the attention gets defeated, there's no disregard for the winner. And as I said, for me, that was heights of disrespect. For Carrick Man of Steel, the Diamond League is covered by other European networks. So I actually was watching it on a European feed. I actually went back to see the NBC feed afterwards. So It is also covered by the regular European channels that cover the Diamond Leagues in Europe.
All right, man, I still take what Richard McGrath just said. Shakira is the biggest star in America. If Uno not see that, Uno blind. What are your thoughts on that? Is she really that big?
Yeah, man. Biggest track and
Yeah,
field.
man.
Really?
Yeah, because
Over
man
the,
is
over,
And all right.
like, I'm
Go
trying
ahead,
to
man. Go ahead,
understand.
man.
How is she bigger than Alison Felix and the Gabrielle?
If by big yet, if you
Hold
are,
on, Pioneer.
what did you? Oh, go ahead.
Pioneer, let man still go first and then you can go after that. Yeah.
all right. So you see, the thing is, Shaka, yeah, when you say big, as in, I think Alicia Phoenix is more greater and more world renowned because of her achievements over the years. But in recent times, Shakari has done a very good job at marketing herself and being someone that can be sold and marketed and be talked about, whether it is in a good light or in a negative
She's the
light.
most marketable.
Yes, at the
But
moment.
not the biggest.
No, well, yes, that's why I'm saying.
She's the
biggest
biggest track star in America right now, man. We have to.
Yeah, but so she's
going
the
around.
most marketable.
Okay.
Yes, so at that point,
and I wouldn't even agree with that, being most marketable. What she has done, well, Mannings, and this has been aided by her recent suspension from the Olympics. She has increased her and marketing in America is based on social media. She has moved her Instagram followers from, I think it was 200,000 to 2 million. So she's basically become an overnight social media star by what happened to her because of the whole suspension for the drug violation. As to whether she's the most marketable athlete, I don't think so. I think she's a lady with mental issues, and for me, she's on the verge of an implosion. So I wouldn't call her the most marketable. If I was a marketer right now, look on the back of what happened yesterday, I would be shying away from her. But as to whether she's the biggest track and field track star in
America, I don't agree with that.
She is
pioneer.
She is indeed the biggest track star in America right now. Bigger than that, not
right,
greater,
yeah,
but she in terms of the social media following and the hype around her name, she's the biggest track star in America now.
Yeah, but Pioneer, you are saying that if you were a marketer, you'd shy away from her. Marketers, their main job is to gain traction to whatever thing or product or services that they're offering. And if somebody have 2 million followers on Instagram, let's just say whenever she make a post, 1.5 million people from Instagram see it, plus the other millions of people in the world who probably just looking at her because they want to laugh, or because they want meme her, or because they want shade, but them still are going to see her product what she associated with and might just be interested in it. So yeah, she probably have a mental issue that is arguable.
If you notice,
Pioneer. Hold on, Pioneer. Coach Minzy was going to say something.
Yeah, man, let me explain why I think she's the biggest in America. Over the years, for the past few decades, the Jamaican ladies have been dominating the sport. And if you check the levels, a long time them not win any global title at 100 meters, right? So the fact of the matter is that Shakira has come on board, run a very fast time in her NCAA freshman year, fast time records. So now she becomes marketable, and she is now seen by the Americans that she is one of the biggest stars to upstage the Jamaicans. Hence, she would have gotten these mileages. Nike come on board, give her a contract and all of these things, and she probably getting other endorsements. So I believe that that's one of the reasons why she's the biggest track and field athlete in America, because of her exploits on the track, and she's seen as somebody who can actually dethrone the Jamaicans. Now, for that to happen, it is yet to happen.
Yeah, go ahead, Pioneer.
I think a lot of that, though, Coach, was amplified by her suspension. I think her suspension probably increase her popularity or infamy by tenfold, or maybe at least five
I think
times.
it is Pioneer.
As
Let me
if
just say,
you look
I think
at the
it is
move
what
in
she was
her
suspended
social,
for.
yeah.
Yeah. What she was suspended for.
No,
But go
man.
ahead.
All right, she had a little hype, She had a hype because
Yeah, man, she got a
not
lot of
only that. All right,
followers before, man. Before the suspension, her
she had
followers
no, but as I said, all right. No, all right. She had a little hype before because of the flashiness and the flow, the hairstyle and the nails, the flow and the flow comparisons. All right, but after the as she said in the post Prefontaine interview, she now has 2 million followers on Instagram. Before the US trials, she had 370,000 followers on Instagram. So if you do the math, you see that her Instagram following basically was 5 times more in 2 months. And a lot of that was aided and abetted by her suspension. She got that national recognition. She had the eyes of the track and field world and some of the sporting world before the trials and before her suspension. Post trials and with her suspension, she got the eyes of the entire US on her. And that, as I heard somebody saying, she has more followers than Dak Prescott, who is the quarterback for the most famous NFL team in America. And a lot of that was aided and abetted by her drug suspension. Yeah. But to Man of Steel's point, what I said, what I said in Man of Steel is that after what happened with her yesterday, after that interview on NBC, that lack of class and sportsmanship shown by her, if I were a marketer right now, I think this lady, I think she has mental health issues, and 2, I think she's on the verge of an implosion. If she loses a couple more races this season, especially if she loses badly, and people continue to bash her on social media, I think, and if you must understand how social media works, the same voices that say Ray are the same voices that say Ray. People will follow you today and unfollow you tomorrow. And that is based on how you conduct yourself. That is based on how you are perceived out there. If you notice, there was a lot of support for her post her suspension. But a lot of those voices and a lot of those stars that we saw supporting her have been silent after her loss yesterday and her disgraceful interview. We haven't heard those people coming out in her defense at all.
And she did an interview after that, and it was a better
she since the interview and apologized for
it.
it.
Man.
Yeah,
that
she apologized.
The second interview was a better interview. It was more polished, and you would wonder if that was the same girl who did the first interview.
That was
after too.
Hold on, let me just say this.
That must have been after somebody from Nike pulled her aside and said, "Listen, that wasn't good. Go fix that up."
All right,
but you can see the impulsiveness that came out right after the race.
Let me say this, right? Was she?
Yeah.
I don't think her response was the best, but I can understand the level of disappointment because there was such hype. You had all these, you had the Kendrick Perkins, you have Skip Bayless, the Stephen A. This was a hyped up race all across America. So for her to finish last, there must have been a level of disappointment. And maybe she should not have been interviewed first, just to protect her from the kind of display. But I think she's still very marketable because if you put her in the next Diamond League with all of these other guys, brethren, it's going to be it's a sell out. But here's the question I want to ask you, men. If you are Elaine Thompson Heroes, and I go Coach Minzy, then Pioneer, then Man of Steel. If you are handlers, do you say, listen, you're in the best of form. We don't know if your Achilles is going to act up again in 6 months. So here is what. Yes, we want you to go after the FloJo record and the 200-meter record right now. Don't wait until next year. We're going to put you in every race possible because right now you're in the best of health. And with what do you do? Or do you tell her, let's play it and see how things go? What would you do? Coach Minzy, then Pioneer, then Man of Steel.
All right, a good question. That is Manning's man. But for me, I just want to address this point of Sha'Carri being marketable again. Just want to bring it home. She is very marketable, and the very fact that we are even talking about her and she came last in the race is showing how important she is in the sport. Many persons won't agree, but if you talk about the sport and you mention Shakari, she's the sixth fastest woman over 100 meters. So you have to give her credit for that. Same way, I like her. So me just want she just tone down a little bit and, you know, get a little bit more refined. And you see, even though we might look at her as being that type of individual, other places in America probably love what she's doing and it's nothing. You know what I mean? But back to the alien situation. I believe, like you said, Manning's man, they need to go as quickly as possible to try to get that record. So every race coming up for the Diamond League, try to get the record. 1 out of 2 or 2 out of 2. You understand? For me, her 200 is the better race because it's really the 100 meter record to me is hinged on her getting a very good wind speed and a good start. You understand? But for the 200 meter, it is her pet event, I believe, and she can just give one scrape and try her fight. But for the 100 meter, the conditions have to be right. Her start reaction have to be right, and all of these things to get it. But I do believe that they should go after it. I mean, never saw an athlete so when I believe should go after a record. For me, I thought the record was unbeatable, but this 10-5 show me say it can happen.
All right, Pioneer, before you come in, this was the most hilarious thing, you know, that Maxine said. This is the problem I had when she said that she has to go back to the lab. I was wondering what what does this girl mean? But she have to go back to the lab. This was a shocking thing in interview for me, you know.
The track is her lab, man. Training girl, the practice girl is her lab.
Let's
giving her the benefit of the doubt.
Let's hope so. But Pioneer, do you agree with Coach Minzy and I that go after the medals now because this is Achilles? It could act up back or just go easy and wait until you go back to Eugene at the World Championships next year.
All right, I'm going to get to that, but I want to clarify something when I say if I was a marketer. If I had a product on display, and I'm agreeing with Coach Minzy as to what she has brought to the sport and the eyes she has brought to the sport. That augurs well for track and field, right? But if I had a product to market right now, I would not get Shakari as a spokesperson for product. That is what I meant when I say if I was a marketer, I would stay far from her. But as to her impact on the sport and her bringing eyes to the sport, that goes without question. As to the world record, Ilian going for the world record. This coming Thursday, there's a meeting in Lausanne. Ilian and 6 other finalists from Tokyo will be in the 100 meters. Keep your eyes on that carefully. All right. I think Ilian is, and I want to add something. Coach Minzy hit 2 of the important points. She's a good start and a favorable wind speed away from the 100 meter record. And I want to add one more thing. I want to add to that a little bit more competition from Shelly. If Shelly gets a 10-6 race, and I can tell that yesterday, Shelly felt like yesterday was her opportunity. She hit the start. If you notice, Ilian took a bit more time to catch Shelly yesterday. She hit the start yesterday. She held her farm for maybe 60-65 meters. She held off Ilian for as long as she could afford to, or she could manage to. And then Ilian caught her and Shelly started cracking up a little. If Shelly gets a good race and runs at 10.65 or 10.66 and offers Ilian a little more competition, that world record is gonna go. That will boost that extra effort from Ilian in the final 40 meters. At 10.65 will mean that Shelly will be out in front of her at 70 meters, and she's going to have to catch Shelly now and then that superior top end speed. So for me, she's a good start, a favorable wind speed, and a little more competition from Shelly away from breaking the 100 meter record. And yes, Mannng, if I were her handlers, I would be going for that. This year, form is not guaranteed from one season to the next. Health, which is the most important thing in sports, is not guaranteed from one season to the next. As to the 200 meter record, And Coach Minzy and Davian and I was having this conversation last night on the coach's desk. Brussels is the second to last Diamond League on the program. She'll be running the 200 meters in Brussels. Shaka Richards in that race too. That the Brussels track has what you consider one of the softer curves for the 200 meters. Something special could happen in Brussels in the 200 meters. So yes, if I were her handlers, she's the double sprint champion, the 2-time double sprint champion. It would be the crowning glory on her career if she could get one or both of those records. The conversation as to the greatest sprinter of all time would be done if she gets one or both of these records. So if I were her handlers with this form, I would be going for it. I want to add to this. I want to add something quick to this. I heard her husband in an interview yesterday with Ray Edwards and I think Race T. He was saying that the Olympic Games, the 7 races she won in the Olympic game was what, and Coach Minzy, you know myself, he said that is considered loading. That was considered loading because of the early injury that she sustained and the lateness of her season. He said the seven races that she ran at the Olympics is loading. So this period after the Olympics is seeing her peaking now. So
yeah,
might just see her.
She'll taper off.
Here,
and that is very,
so we could just see.
Interesting.
Very interesting. All right, so we might just see her taking down one or both of those records this season.
I have something bigger to ask you guys now, but Mannng Steel, what do you have to say? And then I'm going to start with Coach Minzy again for the next question.
All right. So, firstly, the last thing I would probably say about Shakari and the whole thing, I think that, as Coach Minzy said, she did an interview right after that one, and you would wonder if it's the same person who was speaking on that interview. And that interview was a bit longer. I think it was about 4 or 5 minutes. As it relates to marketing, I think that at the moment in time, she got a lot of endorsements for marketing because of the attraction that she's garnered. I would like for her to be more polished because I think she's really important in the sport. I think she is what you'd want to say an exaggerated version of somebody like a Usain Bolt who brought entertainment. I think she brings about that sort of entertainment, but in a way that is not acceptable to a lot of people. But it still allows for people to talk about her regardless of how she finished in a race or how good she's doing or the form that she's having. As it relates to Elaine, I think now is the ideal time for her to try for the records because Elaine has been an athlete that though she has performed well over the years, she's always been plagued with this Achilles injury. And now is the time that she seems to be really catching a break. So I think now would be the time for her to really try and go after this record because, you know, as Pioneer said, form is not guaranteed from one season to the next. And, you know, next season she can come around and the injury just come about and she's not in a position where she can go for the record. And I think she'll be 30 next year, going on to her 30s. So I think now would be an opportune time. What I disagree with Pioneer regarding is I think once Elaine gets a good wind reading, she'll break the record. I don't think she needs any push.
All right, seems like we're having a little struggle with Mannng Steel right there. Coach Minzy, no, this is probably I can't play the devil's advocate, but just throwing something out there. No, most people across the world that have communicated with in track and field always question Flo Jo's record. That something is wrong, how it was done, what happened after she got the record, and it looks so far-fetched. All right? Now here we are in 2021, Coach Minzy, discussing a Jamaican beating Flo Jo's record. All right? Does this now validate Flo Jo's record? And will there be questions if Elaine now breaks Flo Jo's record about her as well? That is my question. Coach Minzy and then Pioneer.
All right. Very interesting question, Manning's one. I mean, the thing that surrounds Flo Jo the Flojo's time is basically the wind reading. Many persons might say otherwise, but I have to say what is on record. The wind reading was something that they had an issue with. Other than that, in terms of they said that she did this and did that and she took that, and probably it's an era where that thing was happening, the usage of drugs or PEDs. But there's never evidence on her. We have seen the progress of Elaine Thompson. And I mean, if she broke the record, I think Americans will have halo over her head, or yellow cards, red flags, and all of these things. But I mean, it would be what it is. Elaine is very talented, and she has proven that over the years with her progress. So persons are gonna be saying stuff. But I don't see any gray area around her, in my estimation, as a track and field enthusiast. I'm not seeing it. So I mean, they're gonna say things like Usain Bolt when he started to run fast. They thought it was just then, but he was doing that from the junior level. So I mean, boy, Manning's man.
Freddie, what are your thoughts on that? Because the truth is, the truth is, growing up, I when I hear about Flojo's record, I heard about something that is outside of the reach of human. All right, because and all of this suspicion, here it is right before our eyes. There is a Jamaican that could go below that in our lifetime.
All right.
Pioneer.
All right. All right. Firstly, there is a shadow that has been cast over track and field for many years because of the East Germans and the Russians and the Americans from the early 80s. And that it is the reason why track and field has lost a lot of fans. All right. But we move Elaine from the kind of shadow that has been cast over Flojo is one. All right. First, let me address the time. When that record was run, the first win reading came up as 4.2. And it was denounced as a world record. Then 55 minutes after, it was announced that the win reading was actually legal and the world record was recognized. So that is the first cloud that comes over the record itself. If you look at Flojo's progression as a sprinter, she was on the scene since 1980. She never broke 11 seconds until 1987. And then she ran only 10.9. She had one good year where she ran all of these super fast times and then immediately disappeared from the scene. That says suspicion. Elaine has been around. I have known about Elaine since 2013, 2014. That's 7 going on 8 years. She has been running 10.7s, and now she's moving into the 10.6s and 10.5s. As I said, the suspicions will linger. You're never going to remove that suspicion from track and field. However, what is clear, doctors who worked with the US track and field came out and spoke to positive tests for both Carl Lewis and Flojo that was covered up. We have not heard anything like that for Usain Bolt, and we definitely have not heard of anything like that for Elaine Thompson. So while the suspicion will exist, there is nothing that will validate that suspicion. There is nothing that somebody can point out to say, listen, there is something. So until a test comes out positive, or until someone comes out and says, I know something, then we'll have to, the only thing that we can do as track and field fans right now is accept these times as being legitimate and as being clean. Until we get proof otherwise, and that cannot be, the same thing cannot be said for Flojo. I want to make one more interesting point though, Mannng. When you look at Flojo's running style and running form, since her time, Elaine is the person who mirrors that running style and running form closest. The stride pattern, if you look at Elaine and look at Flojo, it's almost like you're looking at similar body types and similar sprinting styles. I find that to be very interesting.
Really?
And to add to what Manning's man, what Pioneer is saying, Stephen Francis lords in his reputation, right, as one of the best in the world. So he will ensure everything in his power to ensure that his athletes do whatever they need to do to stay away from banned substance. So the man comb through the list, the water list that is normally out, I believe, and indicate to his athletes what they need to do, what they should do, what they shouldn't drink, what they shouldn't, you understand?
Yeah.
So he lodges in his reputation so much that he will ensure that he informs and updates his athlete, which is also one of the things the athletes should do. You understand? But I think that he will reinforce it to them.
Okay. All right. Man of Steel. We also forgot that there was Sharika Jackson, as Richard just said, who ran 10.76. Isn't that that's a PB?
Equaling her PB.
Equaling her PB. Had a very poor start. I mean, she was playing catch up in the race. In my estimation. What do you think of her race? And then is it that we can say, listen, Shelly has gotten to her fastest time and that's it? Like she's leveling off now. Like, can we say, like, or is there some expectation that somehow she can produce some faster time? So speak to me a little bit about what your thoughts are on Shelly and Sharika.
All right. So firstly, before I was listening about the Flojo thing. I think if Elaine breaks the record, which I think inevitably she will, people will always have something to say. For the most part, the most concrete information I've heard about Flojo's time is the wind reading. So, and I think we'll always have that back and forth. Sharika is not the best starter going around. As you can recall, she's a person that normally does, as in her professional career, has done mostly 400s. So it will take her a bit of time for her to perfect that start and to get going out of the blocks. And I think if she improves that, you will see faster times because each time she has to run down people to catch them. Shelly, I think it's possible for her to go below 10.6. And the reason why I say that is because she's in a phase now where she's constantly running 10.7, 10.8, 10 low, 10.9s. So, I mean, on any given day, she can turn up, the conditions are right, and boom, she does a 10.5. It's not impossible. I don't think that she has reached her ceiling where I don't think she can go any fast. I don't think that is the reality. But to say that I'll see her with another gold medal outside of a relay, I don't think that is possible if Elaine continues on the path and Sharika improves and continues to run the 1 and 2, or if Brianna Williams improves at the level that she's improving, or even Shakira Richardson as well. So, yeah. But right. I don't think that Shelly is. All
right, we have a little time left, guys. So I'm going to take the last questions and then get you to respond to it. Now, Coach Minzy, like that because that question I'm asking, because Sharika came out after this event and talked about the 400 meters, suggesting that she could run it again. Do you think she should go back up, or she should just stick to the 1 and the 2? What are your thoughts on that, Pioneer? Also, what are your thoughts on that? Do you believe that she's going to ever go back to the 400, or this is her little sweet spot right here, the 100 and the 200? I don't know. Maybe she got excited after her run in the 4x4 at the Olympics, and she's thinking, boy, I will never get a gold medal with Elaine. Might as well I take a shot at the 4 with the 100-meter speed that I've developed. Let me hear it from you, because you guys are the expert in track and field.
For me, as a coach, anything the coach said, once it is in good stead, the athlete should, adhere and listen. I mean, you use the correct term, she might find a sweet spot. Sometimes the coaches experiment and the experiment is a big victory. So she's consistently now running 10.7s with ease. And if she is on that 10.7 path, once she put in some more work and stuff like that, she'll definitely can go into the 10.6 barriers as well. I think that is where the elite sprinters, 100-meter sprinters, are going to be for the females going forward. You understand? But for me, any one of them, Sharika have a very long range, you know. So anyone she run, she's gonna be doing well. I think I like her chances at the 1-2 right now, being that she's consistently running the 10.7s. And I mean, there's more in the tank for Sharika to go over into the 10.6 bar, and that will be very good for her.
But let me hear Pioneer, because I have my own thoughts on this Sharika Jackson. You know.
I heard the question, you know, when it was asked by the report. I think for me, she was facilitating the question with the reference of going. She was being facilitating, if you ask me. No athlete likes the 400 meter. Even the 400 meters runners don't like the 400 meter. Training for the 400 meter is rigorous, and it's an ungrateful. It's an ungrateful.
What makes the 400 meter training harder than the 200 meters?
Really,
that's all right.
No,
all right, for 400 you're on 800. You're on 800s and 600s.
No, not every program. Every program money.
But you're on a lot at 600 at least.
Not every program runs 600.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, coach.
Yeah,
why is the 400 training harder than the 200? Go ahead.
The biggest factor in that is the lactic buildup. It's very difficult when the athletes have to do the repetition of the over distance, like the 450, the 500s, to some extent the 600. I think more and more people are moving away from the 600 because the 400 is a speed event, you know. One of the speed event in track and field. In time past, persons used to run on strength, endurance, but now it's more about speed endurance. So I think the lactic, when the athletes face the training and they have to do the repetition of the over distance and the lactic build up, and they have something that they call I can say it on the program, your body lock. Yeah, man, that's one danger or something when the lactic build up. So people are really afraid of it because it's a grueling event. It's a grueling training because you have to build up the strength endurance. You have to build up the speed endurance, the endurance, everything. You understand? So they go through all the phases. The speed, they have to do speed work. They have to do, like I said, special endurance one, and all of these things. It's tough, man. It's tough. While a 200-meter athlete, you go through some 300s.
And 400.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Not a lot. Not a lot.
Yeah, that's if you're going into competition. But in training, you're more so as a 200 might do 250, might do 300 and all of that. You don't really go further than that because you still want to maintain the speed factor. You understand? But the 400, you have to go way beyond. So like, if you're digging the foundation, for some coaches, they use a 600. Some coaches use 500. Some use 450. You understand? So it depends on the philosophy of the coach in order to dig the foundation. And if you don't dig the foundation properly with the 400, and that's the hardest part of the 400 workout, the foundation, the background training, it's rough. You understand? So I think that's one of the major differences.
All right, go ahead.
Add it to that, no man. Add it to that, man. Add it to doing all of that work. I basically what the coach has to say. You have to do speed. You have to do this. You have to do the speed training of 100 and 200 meter sprinter, and you have to do the 400 training also, because the 400 is basically a long sprint, as it is defined now. It is considered a sprint event in the context of track and field. However, what makes a lot of people unsure, it's also an ungrateful event because, for example, a Wade Van Niekerk, with all the spectacular time that he ran, doesn't get the same kind of highlight as a Usain Bolt. Understand? So the 100 sprints are the glamour events. So why would you run away from an event that gives you more glamour?
Perfect.
That you do less working. Sharika Jackson has miles to go. I can see her running 10.6. She, as Man of Steel said, she has her senior career has basically been running 400 meters. As a 400-meter runner, you don't need that start. Now, with another 2 seasons of practicing her start, we could see her starting better. And trust me, with that top end speed, then sky is the limit for her. And Ilian is on top now. However, Ilian is 29 and going up. Sharika staying healthy for the next 2-3 years. 27, yeah, but staying healthy for the next couple of years. Her time could be there, right there coming. So, as I said, for me, I heard the interview, I heard the question, I heard the answer, and I think she was just being facilitating. The commentator was just the person, the interviewer was just kind of moseying around, and she was basically saying, "Listen, I'm not making a decision. You might just see me going back to the 400, but I don't see that happening."
Why I ask that is because so far, at least on the male side, which is the example I have, like whenever I've seen like Alison Felix try the 100 meters, she struggled, but she does well at the 2. I look at the American athletes who have moved from the 400 to 200 and 100. They seem to struggle in the 100, but do well in the 200. I look at Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt is the only one who stepped down from 400 and have the success in the 100 and in the 200. So I am just wondering if
Fred Curley is doing well. Fred Curley is doing well.
In the 100, he don't have any global medal thus far. Like
you want a silver medal? You want a silver medal?
Silver medal.
Fred Curley was a silver medalist in Tokyo.
Well, true, silver medal, but I just kind of felt like that was a fluke because I was expecting Ronnie Baker and what's the other guy name? He was not the favorite.
He was the favorite, but listen, he finished third at the US trials, but was the top US finisher in Tokyo.
So he's better than Ronnie Baker and
all right, I'm gonna say something to you.
What's the other guy?
Trevon Brummel. All right, so let me tell you something. Interestingly, I heard an interview with Fred Curley, and you know what he said? He said this season he hasn't trained any at all for the 100 meter. He's at the start of the season he was training for the 400 meters. Now, if you can be training for the 400 meter and make the 100 meter team in the US and win the silver medal at the Olympics, it is scary to think what might happen next season when he goes down to training for the 100 meter. So there's no, listen, man. I think Sharika Jackson has 21.5 in her in the 200 meters also. I don't think she's that far off 21.5. All right, and I think she has 10.6 in. How can 10.6 is rarefied here? 21.5 is rarefied here. When Daphne Skippers ran 21.63 and Ilian ran 21.66, the world was up in lights to say, "Whoa, what is this?" Now Ilian ran 21.53, and I think Sharika Jackson can take it there too. And as I said, she has been running 10.7s. 10.7s is what most of the last 7 or 8 major championships has been won in. 10.7 something. Except for the Olympics this year. The last maybe 10 world championships and Olympic games combined has been running 10.7s. Why would you be running 10.7s and move away from that?
Yeah. Coach Minzy, I know you have to run because you have big stuff going on. There's a big debate going over. Let me just tell you that over by the coach's desk. I have cataract, and it's not no music they're playing. This is sports debate. And Cranky, you need to go and check it out. They go debate some football and stuff. But did any athletes, Coach Minzy, perform at the run or did any field event at the under-20 championship? And if so, how did that go?
If any, who?
Any of your athletes, any athletes from St. Diego or that your coach and thing. I know at some point you work with Brianna Liston, but anyone else?
No, Well, two persons from the camp. One a silver medal in Kavian car. I don't really.
Kavian Carr is a triple jumper.
No, long
No,
jumper.
the long jumper.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was Shante Foreman. She just missed out on a medal, but she got a PB. So basically, yeah, no immediate person that are directly involved came good at that championship.
Yeah, well, I was happy to see Brianna Liston because she wasn't at champs. She wasn't at the last champs. So it was good seeing her and seeing. Hey, Coach Minzy, thank you for coming on, man. Always a pleasure having you. The track and field guru. So, Coach, people go check out. Yeah, man. Go and check out Coach Minzy at the coach's desk. Like I said, they have a show over there tonight and think. Pioneer, anything you want to say in closing?
All right, big up. I'm going to leave now, see?
Yeah, man. All right, respect Coach Minzy. Yeah, man. Pioneer. Yeah, so.
All right, I'll say, in closing, as usual, looking forward to the rest of the season. Was impressed by some of the performances at Prefontaine yesterday. We mentioned Noel Lyles, obviously Ilian Thompson. There was also some good performance. Dalila Mohammed, 52-77 in the 4 hurdles.
More the 800 meters.
Continuing her impressive season.
What about 800 meters? Female.
I was getting to a thing more, man. Come on, man. I get to a thing more.
Listen, I want
one that I picked, 19-year-old sensation.
Pioneer,
American record.
You know what I want? I want them to bring back Costa Semenya. I want them to bring back Costa Semenya at full throttle going up against Akinmo.
Go again. I didn't hear, man. Go again.
I think because you had something that coming, but I want her to go up against Akinmo. Van girl, man. I just call her name, you know. She was just
over 8 or over 4.
800, man. 800. I want her to take Costa Semenya over 800 meters.
Oh. Well, with what has been happening in world athletics in the mornings, we might see the return of all those 3 medalists from Rio, you know, the 3 Africans. So it might just be interesting next year to see when if those ladies were to return to the scene, how they would match up against Athingmo. I can only see her getting better. For me, she's superwoman, and trust me, she's gonna take some beating. Even these high testosterone athletes might struggle to beat her. So it might just add some intrigue and interest to the sport if these athletes were to return next year for the World Championships. We're talking about Wambui, Nayam Saba, and Semenya.
Yeah, I think when they look at Akinmo and they see the level that she's at, they are going to get back those girls into track and field. I just see it happening because it's going to make the sport, it's going to make those middle distance events exciting again. And so that's something that I'm looking forward to see. Probably for the World Championships next year. I don't know, but that will be very, 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 very interesting. Yeah, man. But
with the admission of World Athletics, that the Semenya test was not really based in science, but there was some politics involved. Basically, that is what they said. That is what they said based on the testing. That it was rooted in science
and incorrect. They said it was influence and incorrect.
Yes.
That's what they said. You know? So those are the words.
We could see, well, in addition to the fact that they are going to be sued from here to Timbuktu, it might only mean the return of these athletes to next year's World Championship. So let's just wait and see how it manifests and how it plays out. But for me, I think more. For the first time yesterday, I saw her running flat out. You could see the impact of the race on her, and it showed in the time that she ran. An American record, I think it's the 3rd or 4th fastest time in history. And it only augurs well for her at 19-year-old. She has basically ended her season because she had a long NCAA season. Her handlers have taken the decision to end her season. That was her last race yesterday, so she gave her maximum effort. So with a long off season, coming back fresh next year, trust me, this is Superwoman, and she's gonna be doing wonderful things in track and field.
Yeah, man. People, so listen, the next big event is this Thursday, right? The Lausanne Diamond League, That's the next.
Lausanne, Switzerland.
Lausanne, Switzerland, right? So, Pioneer and I, we're going to do a show. Totally focusing on that because Elaine is going to be there and other Jamaicans. And so we want to thank all of you for joining us this evening, for the show, for participating, all those who listened, all those who made a comment, asked a question, added some value. Thanks to Man of Steel, thanks to Coach Minzy, and of course, Pioneer. This man know the track and field, right? Some of you may think he's reading from a book or he has stuff written down. All of that is in his brain. You understand me? Never did any track and field at Monroe. Wasn't too good at it still, but
actually, I did Mannng. Ran at Western champs. Have a silver medal at Western champs. Beaten by my teammate, who actually beat me at Sports Day and then beat me at champs again in the 800 meters.
There you go. Was that 800 meters, brother? You see, never know these things. But so thank you again, Pioneer. Again, we'll meet again on Thursday to discuss this. If you have not, before you come off, please go on and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed to the channel yet. Tell somebody about what we're doing right here so the channel can grow and we can provide you with good quality content and discussion. Again, have a blessed Sunday evening. No movement there. Stay home. Stay safe. You understand me? Encourage somebody else to do it. Make we fight this thing together and not divided. You understand me? We want back Jamaica. We want back the fun. We want back the nice time. So let us put hands and hearts together to get us past this phase. Be wise. You understand me? When you make a decision, think about your past, your present, and the kind of future you want. Let's use some wisdom. Again, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, and we will see you in the week.
I am sure sports. You know me there, from coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know the game play, that me not say it. If me never seen a game, me not know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
SK New Artists, the body out there, Sniper King I represent for I Am Sure Sports. You get to me, I say, when you want the latest news and sports and updates and all of that, check out I Am Sure Sports. You know the thing goes in. Remember, cover the whole island. Remember Kingston, Westmoreland, Galchester, Ocho-Race, Galtigo Bay, everywhere. I Am Sure Sports, check it out for the latest news and latest updates. Sniper King I represent. Where them feel like, yeah, someone on for the food from young, from where they knee height. I Am Sure Sports. Yeah, dog.